The first time I heard about responsibility, I didn't even understand it as well. But after, I think, a few months, as soon as I got the idea of what it was meaning, I just burst into tears, and I was like here in my bedroom, and I felt like I could do anything that I wanted in life, and it was just my choice.
I'm AJ. Welcome to Zen Mind, an ongoing conversation with spiritual seekers on their path to Zen. My goal with this podcast is to introduce you to different spiritual practices across the globe through direct contact with individuals who found these programs deeply transformative. In today's episode, we will talk to Marco, a full-time model and a full-time Facebook influencer from Italy. Choosing a path of spirituality doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give up worldly pleasures and aspiration. In fact, going on a path of spiritual experience only deepens the existing life experience. Enjoy the show. Namaskaram, Marco. Welcome to Zen Mind.
Namaskaram. Nice to meet you.
I am more interested in your story, and I was watching YouTube the other day and I heard your experience on inner engineering, and we will get into that, how was your experience in that. But maybe perhaps for the listeners, you can tell a little bit about yourself, like starting with your career, what you do today, where you are, and then what prompted you? What was the reason which propelled you to look for deeper dimensions?
Well, first of all, I'm 24-year-old. I'm from Italy. And what I do full time, as I mentioned, I'm a full-time model, full-time influencer here in Italy. So I create content as my job, and I do acting. So I've always loved to be in front of other people, to be in front of the camera. And it all started actually when I was 18 years old. When I was 18 years old, I just finished my high school. I studied foreign languages, and I started university. After a weird period in which my parents really struggled with money, after my ex-girlfriend broke up with me, I left my job. It was a really weird period. I decided to go into self-development. So I started reading a lot of books, reading and reading and reading. I was reading like one book every 3 days, and that was illuminating. I started developing skills about marketing, about finance, about self-care, beauty care, anything that is self-development. I was doing that. Also routines. And one thing that all the people that I was looking at, they were doing meditation or some sort of spiritual practices. Entrepreneurs, big people. And I wanted to start it, but without even knowing what I was doing. So I started actually meditating when I was 19 years old, but without even knowing what I was doing. Then my whole career changed. I started doing social media. I started creating my YouTube channel, my Instagram account, TikTok account. I traveled the world. And then I had to stop for a while because of this pandemic. What happened? And staying some time alone at home made me realize that one thing that I never developed between all these skills or these self-development skills was actually my internal skill, my internal world. So I discovered Sadguru. I discovered Isha and Sadguru. And it just changed my life.
Your story starts off with seeking something outside, a success in the world, and then you're discovering how the external success actually starts also internally, and that's how your search ends up at Sadguru. And did you think initially when you heard about Sadguru, did you think that it was more like a religious organization, got something to do with Hinduism, and I'm not a Hindu, I'm a Catholic? Did any of that stuff cross your mind?
Yes, I was raised Catholic, and here
Yeah.
in Europe, I don't know about Texas, but in Europe we are really, skeptical about
Yeah.
the spiritual world.
Yeah.
We just are really pragmatic, and everything is external, and everything's logical, and everything's
Mm-hmm.
science based.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always open to learn new things.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not
Mm-hmm.
writing a lot of things. That's why I love to learn. That's why I love self development, because I learn from people that I think they know more than me in something. So that's why I always kept a little door open to believe.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, it was belief because of my skeptical mind. I had to believe all these things that these guys said, these men said. And I also read a couple of other books that were not from by Sadguru, like The Power of
Mm-hmm.
Now, for example, by Eckhart
Mm-hmm.
Tolle, which is
Mm-hmm.
also spiritual, and it's also
Mm-hmm.
inner growth, but it's more of it's not so Oriental based. It's more of Western world explained. So that was easier for me to understand it properly. And so, yes, in
Mm-hmm.
the beginning, I thought it was kind of, Hinduism. I thought it was some other things, but the
Mm-hmm.
charisma and the charm of Sadhguru made me keep going, wanting to know more and more and more. And after a lot of videos, I understood that it's actually something not really religious at all. It's just a method.
He does come across very strong. I mean, he appeals to your logical side more. I mean, even when I was initially researching, I got introduced through my mother, but the more I heard him, the more sort of it grows on me. I mean, that's how I like. Okay, maybe I don't agree to X, Y, and Z, whatever he says, but the hook is on because now I started to think about what he says, and then I research more and more, and then slowly he sort of pulls you in into his world, and then before you know it, you're already transformed and you have a personal experience, right? But tell me, like when you said that initially you were skeptical, so what changed your mind? Was that your practice which changed your mind?
I think that what changed my mind is the fact I always try to document whatever I was doing. So whenever I
Mm-hmm.
started my self-development journey, I started my YouTube channel to document and teach other people what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But after trying to tell in YouTube videos or on my social media content or people around me what I was doing with my internal practices, this internal journey, I noticed that it's something that actually it's really personal. It's something that I cannot. First of all, I'm not an authority to talk about these things because I'm not Sadhguru, and second of all, these are very deep things that they are really personal. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
it's. I started believing that all religions, all methods, everything that's internal is
Yeah.
actually connected. They kind of say all the same things with different words depending on culture, depending on time period and time zones. So I notice, yes, there's nothing as wrong or right. It's something that I just have to do and to practice, and I don't have to tell anybody that I'm doing it. I don't have to tell anybody that is right or wrong or to try it. It's just something that I love to do, and it's just something that makes me feel good.
I love the way you're putting it. You said, you know what, it's my journey. Let me start off with me first, and I'm telling my story of transformation. And then if it helps other people feel the way I feel, uh, great. So you already said that, your introduction to Sadhguru was through social media and YouTube channels. And so how did you decide that what program did you want to do?
I did my inner engineering last summer.
Mm-hmm.
I did inner engineering, so I decided to just go for the classic, the basics, because it was,
Yeah.
first of all, I didn't have the money to go to India and try to do, or even to Italy, because I didn't know anything about Isha. I just knew that I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
do something with Sadhguru. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know it was connected to Isha. It was very, chaotic in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But after a while, after doing inner engineering, everything was clearer. and I also subscribed to Sadguru exclusive.
Mm.
Uh, that also made me understand a lot of things. I think that I watched at least a couple of times all of his YouTube videos. So
Wow.
for theory, I'm all done. I just have to put in the practice. So I just
Yeah.
went with it. And
Mm-hmm.
after a while in January, I decided to do the Shambhavi. So to learn the
Mm-hmm.
practice, to learn the method. They started doing it online. So before doing the completion, I decided to do again, once again, the inner engineering to refresh it. So I did
Mm-hmm.
inner engineering again, and then the completion. I finished it actually 2 months ago. I just finished my mandala of 90 days.
I would love to hear your experience on inner engineering, but before we get to that side of the story, maybe tell me a little bit about your friends and family. You already said that Italy is not very open, and then what did your parents think about you when you said that you're gonna do this, or did you tell your friends and did you tell your people around you about this program?
they, I think I mean, they know that I
Yeah.
meditate. They know, because of course, if you start doing
Mm-hmm.
inner engineering, you know it more than me. If you start doing the Shambhavi and all the other practices, it kind of rushes into your daily routine. So of course, everyone has to know it that is around you. They have to wait me for dinner because I have to finish my mandala in empty stomach. So
Mm-hmm.
they know what I'm doing, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody here. I mean, they know that I'm a smart guy. They know that I'm not stupid. That they know that I am not naive. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so they just trust me, and if it's something that I think it's right to do, then it's
Mm-hmm.
good. And I'm also
Yeah.
I'm a very lonely guy in a positive
Mm-hmm.
way. I don't like being too much with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I did professional swimming for 12 years, and that made me not have a group of friends to go out and drink and do drugs and everything. Uh, so I just
Oh.
kept going on my own. I have some friends, right, like here and there, but nothing too
Mm-hmm.
special. So
Mm-hmm.
I have nobody to say or to
Mm-hmm.
judge me for what I'm doing. So yes, I think that's a
Mm-hmm.
positive aspect. They know that I love
Yeah.
self development, and whatever I do, they appreciate it.
Yeah. And so you have an inner compass which you're following, and that's what is driving you towards your goal. So maybe now perhaps it's a good time to talk about your experience, right? Because you wouldn't be talking to me or talking to the world if you didn't have a positive experience, right? So tell me a little bit about your experience. Did you have any doubts initially doing it, or how did they got resolved? And then what do you feel today?
I think that it was successful to me because I didn't have many expectations. I noticed that
Mm,
everything in my life, as soon as I remove the expectations, it was everything went better, or everything went really good, and it was very positive. So I also removed my expectations from this journey, and
mm,
I just didn't expect anything. I just wanted to go on and see how I was feeling day after day. And the first positive thing that I noticed, I didn't even notice it while I was doing it. I noticed it after a while, because I
mm,
met a friend for that I wasn't that I didn't meet for 1 year, and he told me, Marco, you are really changed. You are very more calm. I was very impulsive. I was
yeah.
very always in a rush. I was always anxious, and he told me that I'm
Mm,
very relaxed, that I laugh without a reason, and also my parents told me. But the first thing I really noticed practically is that I started eating 80% of my diet plant based,
mm,
vegetarian diet, and I
mm.
um, always hated vegetables. I never ate vegetables for my entire life, and this man
Yeah.
made me try and get into vegetables.
Wow. Well,
So
so
yeah,
you're
that
enjoying
was crazy.
vegetables today?
I mean, enjoying is a huge word, but I have you, as you already told me, I have
Yeah.
this compass that now I feel much better what is right for me and what is wrong for me to eat. So I kind of eat more of the things that I feel they're right for me without
Yeah.
even knowing why. I
Yeah.
also did 90 days of Isha Kriya, the free meditation on the app,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in the Isha Kriya meditation, he insists of disconnecting you or having this little gap between you, your
Yeah.
mind, and your body. And the constant idea of I'm not my body really
Yeah.
helped me with vegetables. So every time that I was trying vegetables and I was repulsive about it, the idea of I'm not my body, I'm not my mind, that really helped me.
Every time I'm thinking about me, the mind, body, it's always combined, right? And I say, I don't like this. I wouldn't do this. Somehow I'm saying that like I know who I am. In fact, I don't know who I am, right? It's my mind is influencing my body and the body is influencing my mind. I'm in a loop. But the so-called I, what you're talking about, is the one who's a witness to these two events which are happening. It's just amazing. And it takes probably a lifetime to really separate this, but having a goal to be mindful that when you think of you, it may be not you think, it may be just the mind.
Yes, I think it doesn't require a lifetime. I think it only requires a lot of it requires to remove the ego. Every time that you do something unconsciously, I was doing a lot, uh, mostly with acting and being in front of other people. You build your ego a lot, and the more you build it, uh, it creates like a barrier. And every time that I meditate right now, every time that I my daily sadhana, I try to leave my ego on the door. I always have this image of leaving the Marco, my name and everything, my past and everything, my karma, everything else. I leave it on the door and just stay
Yeah.
here, trying to, even if my mind keeps thinking, it's like something in the background. I don't even care about it. So I think that's more of a the easier you remove the ego, this barrier, the more open you are, the faster it happens.
Between the Isha Kriya and the inner engineering, what is the one or two thing which sort of stands out in your mind?
I mean, everything, 95% of what he told me.
Yeah.
But I think, yes, the body mind thing is really
Yeah.
crucial. I think the one thing that is actually something that changed me completely, the one thing that it is mindset, because it is something that you have to learn. But once you really learn it, once it actually you absorb it, you absorb the idea, you don't think about it anymore, is what you were mentioning before. Is yes, I have my life situation, which is everything that is happening now, my social media, my job. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be whatever, but it's not my life. My life and my life situation, they are two completely different things. So whatever happens in my life situation in this moment, it can be anything. I can lose everything. I can obtain everything that I want. It's all right. But the fact that I'm alive right now, the fact that I'm live right now in this room, feeling everything and being alive and having this opportunity on this little blue planet in the middle of the universe, I think that having this little thought in the background all the time, that everything that happens is not so important anymore because you are, you are life. It doesn't affect your life, but it affects only the life situation. That actually is what changed me.
I think Sadhguru has talked about this, and I love the way you put it. Is that one needs to really understand the difference between you don't really have any control over the situations. All you have control over is you and how you react to it, and which is what Sadhguru calls it responsibility. And I had a lot of difficulty in understanding the word responsibility because I had misunderstood that word. But is tweak of that word, just that an ability to respond. It's like, oh my God, yeah, responsibility is nothing but an ability to respond. And by taking up responsibility, I'm being more mindful. I have choice. And then all this while I was thinking that it is a burden, but no, it's a choice. And in fact, before, when I did not take up the responsibility, that was in fact a disability. Because if I don't have the ability to respond, then it's a disability. The
Let me
life
tell you,
situation
the
is that.
first time I heard about responsibility, I didn't even
Yeah.
understand it as well. But
Yeah.
after, I think, a few months,
Yeah.
as soon as I got the idea of what it was meaning, I just burst into tears, and I was like here in my bedroom, and
Yeah.
I felt like I could do anything that I wanted in life, and it was just my choice. And the fact that it was my choice, I felt like I could do anything. If I wanted to just sit here and do nothing, or if I want to become the president of the United States, it's just my choice.
See, I think this is the one thing which we probably get forget as human beings. We get carried away with the life situations, and we constantly keep blaming the external entities outside us. But I think by doing these programs, or especially the inner engineering program, actually sort of clears the vision for you to see the world as is, and so that makes you more powerful, or empowers you to react to the situations around you. And how has that? I mean, you said that you have been practicing it for only a few months per se, but are you saying very good? Are you feeling things are changing, not only just in your mind and your body, but also you're able to, like, people are noticing, which you already said, right? It becomes your part of your personality, right?
I mean, for the first 15, 20 days of Shambhavi after the inner engineering completion, nothing actually changed. I was just doing it, and the completion itself was really powerful for me. I felt it like exploding. But after the first, like for 15 days, 20 days, it was, yes, nothing special, just my meditation. But in the day, like put you in a WhatsApp group with other people that were doing it, and you can ask any question you want. And I noticed that it's just something, you just have to pick it as it is without worrying about it. So just doing it, and every day it's different, and you keep it keeps intensifying itself just by doing it. After 25, 30 days, I had this one day in which I don't know what happened. I was just sitting here on this carpet and like everything changed. I just sit here, and instead of trying to feel something, I just didn't care. And I was just, let it happen how it is. Let it happen how maybe it can be, if I overthink, because every time that I was doing the practice, I tried to always force myself in not overthinking, or I was forcing myself into feeling something, or I was forcing myself, into a position or posture. Instead, this time I just, let it be whatever it wants, let my body and my mind do whatever it wants while I do Shambhavi, but keep them a little aside, the ego thing that I told you before. And that day, it like exploded even more than the first day. And that day, I felt like, as Sadguru said, stoned. I felt stoned for the whole day. I felt very good, and everything that was happening before, since I started Shambhavi, and I noticed a lot of people in the group experienced the same thing as me. It's kind of like everything bad is happening to you. For 30 days, it was like everything bad was happening. I also was kind of a little depressed. I felt into a bit of depression, which never happened to me in my life before. I was always very disciplined and motivated. But Sadguru also, they linked a Sadguru video talking about this, and he said that doing sadhana for the first time, it's like having your life, putting your life in fast forward. So everything that happens bad to you, instead of being, spread during your entire life, it is just spread in a little short period of time. So then it cleanses out, and then you're happy and joyful for your entire
Wow.
life. And I kind of felt that. After those 35, 40 days, when that happened, everything just disappeared, everything bad that was happening, and just really good things were happening to me. Today, it was a really good day. I just got verified on Facebook.
What do you mean verified on Facebook?
You know, the blue badge that you have on social media, the verified
Yeah.
accounts of
Yeah.
famous people or big brands.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know why it happened, but I received a notification from Facebook that my Facebook page got verified. So now I have my blue badge, my blue verification
Fantastic.
on Facebook.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
I mean, even if I had all these good experiences, I think that I'm not even in the beginning of this journey, this internal journey. I always felt that the spiritual world, call it however you want, it was something, very esoterical, something that it wasn't in my mind to become successful or to do anything that I wanted in life. But after giving a little chance to the spiritual world, I noticed that it's the basics, it's the fundamental to even have a successful life, not just because of money, but just being happy no matter what happens to you in your life. So I would just say, just give it a chance, be a little open, and try if you never tried. I feel like I'm not even in the beginning of my journey. I feel like here, and I have to go to the infinite. But as I already told you, it's something that I love to keep for myself. It's not something that I learn, as everything in the self-development world. It's not a book that I learn and then, okay, I had to just remember it. It's a kind of exploration that I'm doing inside of me, and I love to do it. I love to explore daily and see where I go. And yes, just keep it. It's something for you. It's something in your life. In the end of the world, you came here alone, and you're gonna go alone. So just keep it for yourself. If it's something that makes you feel good, just give it a chance. And yes, try it.
Yes. You don't have to take one or the other path, right? You have your professional life and the so-called spiritual life, what Sadhguru is talking about. You don't have to create two distinct worlds. They can be all part of the same world. The thing is, when you actually do one of these programs, you learn to live happily, right? I mean, you don't have to choose one or the other. You can be a successful model, or you can build your career on whatever you want to do it and still practice these programs. All it's going to do is enhance your experience of the professional world you have.
Yes, that's the thing that I mentioned before. Life and life situation, they are different. In the
Yeah.
beginning of my spiritual journey, I thought the same as you were mentioning. So I thought, yes, but if I go spiritual, I'm afraid that I will not be motivated enough. Because
Yeah.
maybe I'm just happy here as I am. So I feel I just go into the comfort zone, but it's not actually it. It's the kind of opposite. Instead of feeling bad here, wanting to go there, and feeling bad there, you feel good here, you want to go there, and you feel good there, and in the meanwhile. So that's the thing.
It changes your state of being, rightly said. So for people, be it Italy or anywhere in the world, who are still sort of debating, mentally debating, is this program right for them or not? What is your advice to them?
I mean, I normally would, if it would just be me, if it was just for me, I would recommend it to everyone. I think everyone should do it. I think it's the basics for everyone to just live a good life. But by my personal experience, as I already mentioned, I would say if you feel ready, then all right, do it. As the sutra says, and now yoga, whenever you tried everything and you didn't find whatever you were looking for, now yoga. But if you're a little skeptical, or maybe somebody's forcing you to do it, or maybe you feel it's not the right time, you want to focus on something else, if you have just even 10% of I don't know if I want to do it, I think you should wait a little bit, because if you don't approach it with the proper openness, if you don't approach it with the right engagement, I think you will kind of misunderstand the whole concept.
Very right advice and very sound advice indeed, Marco. And so, thank you so much. It was wonderful chatting with you. I hope that the listeners would definitely find a lot of nuggets of wisdom in what you just said today.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.